I'm going to walk through containerizing a Next.js app and deploying that to AWS. Step 1, run npx create next app in whatever directory you want. I just accepted all the default options. Create a new file called Dockerfile in the root of the project. Choose from one of the many officially supported Node.js images. I'm going for Node 22 Alpine, as Node 22 is the latest LTS and Alpine's a small image. Add your Node image as the base. Now start to install the dependencies we need. Add libc6 compat from Alpine's package manager, as we need this for compatibility with some of the native Node modules. Copy over the relevant log file. Add the following code block to add the Node modules dependencies. Moving on to the build section, copy over the dependencies we installed previously, and copy the rest of the source code as well. Run yarn build to build our application. Moving on to the final stage of our Dockerfile, where we will run our application. Set the Node environment to production. Now we will create a new user and a new group that don't have admin privileges. This is done for security reasons. Copy over the public directory from the build step, make a next directory and set the relevant permissions on this directory. Copy the output of the build. Here we also need to set relevant ownership so that our users can use these directories. Switch over to our next user, expose port 3000, create a couple of environment variables, one for the host name and one for the port. Finally, we can run the command node server.js. Oh, and close this block properly. Yeah, it's a mistake I made earlier. Let's update our next config. We're going to set output to be standalone and also update the host name to match our Docker container. Onto the backend, let's create a new directory called CDK. Then run CDK init app, and we're going to use the TypeScript template there for that. Go ahead and open up the CDK.ts file that's in the bin directory. So we're just going to set our account region to be our CDK's default. Now we'll go ahead and open up this CDK stack. Here we're just going to first of all import ECR, the Elastic Container Registry, and we will then create our repo where we're going to push up our Docker image. Run CDK deploy. Open up ECR on the AWS console. Open up our repo and view the push commands. Just copy and paste these commands into the terminal. This is an optional step, but I like to run a container locally first, just to make sure everything is running as it should be. As you can see, our app exposes port 3000, and it does indeed open up a next app. Run the rest of the push commands. Give the ECR console a refresh and you should see your image. Back in our CDK stack, we want to import the ECS, the EC2, and also the logs services from the AWS CDK. First off, we import the default VPC for our AWS account. Then we create ourselves a new ECS cluster that will live inside our VPC. Create a new task definition, defining the compute resources that our Fargate task will use. Set up a new log group for our ECS cluster, and this is going to be really useful for debugging any issues. And we're going to update that task definition we made earlier, and we're going to add our repo to that task definition. It's really important that we map the correct port number and also the correct host name. And don't forget to add our group that we made earlier for logging. Now we're going to create a security group, and this is going to be so we can allow traffic in and out of our Fargate server. We also have to create a egress rule. This is to allow traffic out on port 3000. Similarly, we're going to create an ingress rule, and this is going to allow traffic in to our Fargate server on port 3000. Finally, we put everything together when creating this new Fargate service. This takes in our cluster, our task definition, and our security groups that we defined earlier. Deploy those changes by running CDK deploy and hit Y when prompted. Open up the AWS Management Console, head on over to the ECS service and click on the cluster that was just deployed. If you open up the tasks, you should see one task running, and if you then go over to network bindings, you'll be able to find the public IP address for that task. Open it up and hopefully you have a running Next.js app. If you have followed along, please do run CDK destroy if you don't want to keep your application running, that is, because it will be costing you money. This is running on a server on AWS.